Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by the one and only Trans Labs that brought the world two amazing products. First off, Transfuse, which is a hydration multiplier, and most recently, they just dropped Transcend, which is a nootropic energy formula. No matter what you use, when you choose Trans Labs, you are going to be boosted and you are going to be ready to charge the paintball field and win out there. With Transfuse, that is a premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in this product. We've got zinc, we've got vitamin B6, we've got vitamin C, sodium, potassium, choline, and it is an amazing way to make sure that you're hydrated and prepared to play top level paintball. When it comes to Transcend, that is a premium nootropic energy formula designed to increase cognitive performance, elevate mood and clarity while supporting long-term brain health, and it's going to leave you feeling great with no crash or jitters. It's one of the only products in the nootropic space backed by research studies to ensure the formula is correct for optimal performance. It is more potent than anything on the market, and it will keep you charged and ready to win out there. I take 1 scoop, but if you're stimulant sensitive, take a half scoop, and if you want that LFG dose to launch to the moon, dump 2 scoops in your drink and you are going to be flying down that paintball field. Comes in 2 delicious flavors, Baja Blast and Skittles Candy for the Transcend. And for the Transfuse, they have 2 new flavors as well, Pineapple Express and Hawaiian Punched. So if you get a chance, head over to translabs.com. That's TRANZLABS.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME and you'll get 10% off. If you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you also get 10% off as well. So you can take advantage of 20% off on these products. Head over to translabs.com and give it a go. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game Podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community. This episode is brought to you by HK Army. The tournament season is right around the corner, and there's a ton of teams out there who still haven't finalized their 2023 gear sponsorships. Well, look no further, PTG fam. HK Army is offering team sponsorships along with custom-designed team jerseys, pants, dry fits, gloves, and more. Get your squad in matching gear head to toe from HK Army, and be sure to let them know that PTG Podcast sent you. To get your team sponsored, simply email teams@hkarmy.com and ask for the HK Army sponsorship program. That's teams, TEAMS, at hkarmy.com to kick off the 2023 season in style with HK Army.
What's going on, PTG Nation? Welcome back to the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This episode, we have Chris Scheer, the newest Dynasty member. And, of course, we could not have episode 177 without a special appearance from none other than Thomas Taylor, number 77 himself. So this is an episode you guys don't want to miss. It's a fantastic one. Without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon. Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode Play the Game podcast.
Let's go.
Tonight we got a lot of action for you guys. Yeah, there's been a lot going on, so we're having a little Marcelo and Mantis episode to open up. We have a few great call-ins. But Ty, what's happening, brother? How you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. Happy Tuesday to you. Everybody
Happy
out there
Tuesday.
listening. Tuesday night, Wednesday, whenever you listen to this, episode 177. We're on our way to episode 200 here. Not too far out, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, straight up to the moon. And we got TT77 for episode 177. We got Thomas Taylor that's going to be dropping in here in a little bit. And we got the young legend Chris Scheer, who just made the move to Dynasty, who's going to be hopping on here in just a moment. But there's been a lot of activity in the game that we've seen over the last 2-3 weeks, and I don't think it's done. I think there's still some moves to be made. I'm not entirely sure where some players are going to land, but we've had, some crazy stuff going on. We just heard that A-Rod is going to be moving to AC Diesel as well to join that camp, which only bolsters that AC Diesel lineup. And they have a really solid squad moving into 2023.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the Latin Saints 2.0, and you could argue they're a little better. I mean, Silos played phenomenal for them, but you kind of
management,
definitely better management. It's a already successful organization in the sense that they earned a pro spot. They have depth. They have, a lot of great players. Mark Johnson was on the podcast last week. He's a dynamite individual. It's really nice to actually have a conversation with him. That's the most that I'm sure either one of us have ever talked to him. And seems like a very stand-up dude. So you always root for people like that. The organization is solid. It seems very solid through and through. So that helps. They also have a lot of depth in the sense that they were good before they made all these pickups. They were a team that could beat a high-level team. They won some big games. They were always, one of those teams that were scrappy. They weren't going to go away. So you add, Alex Goldman, Justin Rabikoff, Kyle Spica, and now A-Rod. That's huge. But actually, the pickup that I wanted to mention before any of those big superstars was Nico Hyde. Nico took a year off from paintball. He played on Houston Heat. And Nico, I think, was incredibly, hard. Maybe my perspective is that he was incredibly underutilized on Houston Heat. But who knows? Maybe because of Enjoy Paintball and his company. Maybe he personally was trying to take a step back. I'm not quite sure. But I always thought Nico was a very good player. He won an MVP in a tournament that Houston Heat won. He has played phenomenal in the past. And if I remember correctly, Diesel is the original team that he grew up with, right? Or was it AC Dallas? I kind of get those two camps confused in their semi-pro days. But I know he was part of one of the AC teams, before he went to Heat. Maybe it was Dallas, right? But now again, Paulie was the coach at Dallas. Now he's the coach at AC Diesel. So kind of same. Yeah, full circle. So to me, when they made that pickup, I was like, oh, that's already a big boost. And now you add in, all the other superstars. So they're going to be dangerous. I think they upgraded in the sense that, like you said, it's a stable organization. They're not going to have to worry about all the, nonsense that they had to deal with last year. And I think Nico is a tremendous addition to that, over on the Dorito side. So yeah, they're going to be solid, man. Really solid. And A-Rod, he's going to be jazzing, dude. He's going to be jazzing.
Playing some smooth jazz. They got Shane the Chain out there too. And like you said, they have a deep roster already. The team is really good at paintball. They know how to play paintball. And when you add in talents like that everyone can learn from and to drive the team further, it's going to be, everybody digs in and does the work. They're going to be someone that you're going to have to look at really hard and play some solid ball against. A-Rod is going to be great for them up the middle. Obviously, that's his role that he plays typically. I'm curious to see how they utilize him, but I would have to assume he's going to be rolling down the middle, playing smooth jazz, getting the job done up the middle like he always does.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to be a shoo-in. It's interesting. I know he's very focused on music right now. So he wasn't making this a move about money. I don't know what deal he got, if any. But I do know that he was looking to come back into paintball on different terms than before. Before he kind of had a reputation of just looking for the biggest paycheck, wherever he could go and be a hired gun. I don't think that's the case this time. I think he's doing really well in music and he's really staying focused on music, but I think he wants to have a good work-life kind of balance, and paintball fulfills that for him. So I think he kind of came back just to come back and enjoy playing paintball. And, he might be dedicating a little less time towards the game, but for some reason, I have a feeling that might even translate to better performances from him. He's that type of player where, I think if he's thinking a little less and having fun and actually enjoying it, he could be very, very, very good. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see a dangerous A-Rod this year. He has different motivations than in the past, and it seems like it's coming from a place of passion. Hopefully we could get him on the show here soon. He's been very busy. He's rocking and rolling. If you guys don't follow his different accounts, he does go by Xander Rodriguez in the music industry now. If you do not follow his accounts, please, paintball community, go and follow his Instagram. It is Xander, Xander.Rodriguez.music. And I'll tell you what, I really love that kind of like folk alternative music. And he has a few new songs that are his that I love. Personally, I love them. And it's like, this is the type of music that if I found on Spotify, I'd be really stoked on. So I'm really excited to hear him, continue to produce music, make new things, and brace us with his presence on the paintball field. He's always fun to watch. He's a big competitor and just a total goofball too. We love A-Rod.
Let's go, Xander. Yeah, go give him a follow and support his music too. He's got like Marcelo said, he's got a couple songs that are dropping, and it would mean the world to him if you would support his music. Go out there, whatever it costs. Let's support the paintball players that are out there doing other things as well outside of the field. And he is a wizard on the guitar and on the mic. I actually saw him recently out here in Arizona. He's actually only a couple hours north of me in Prescott, up in the mountains there. So he came down to the valley down here, and I came and saw him live, and he crushed it. He's just killing it on the mic.
Prescott or Prescott?
Yeah, it's definitely Prescott, the way that they say it around here. But
for real,
I was like the same way. I was like, it's Prescott.
I always said Prescott. I mean? Yeah, I always thought Prescott. It's Prescott.
It's Prescott.
Oh boy, Donnie.
Yeah, that's like in Northern California. There's Eureka. It's Yreka.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. They have a Eureka in Mesquite, Nevada. Actually, it's a casino, and they call it Eureka, but it's
tomato.
I think
what I mean?
That is so. Yeah, that's a funny thing about humans, isn't it? I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. Prescott.
Yep.
No, it's Prescott. It's Prescott.
Yeah, it's Prescott.
Yeah, it is what it is, baby.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Just spell it. Look at it.
Yeah, just look at it.
So we also have Frank Antetomaso, who just made the move to the Brooklyn Bears. Also with Greg Horstek. They both made the move over there.
Yeah. And our boy Chris Caputo. Come on now.
Chris Caputo.
Young
That's
Chris. Right. I can't wait to see Chris on the pro field. He's going to have a steep learning curve. We had him on the show. I've seen him play quite a few times, and he's a great young kid, great young player, works his ass off. I love seeing him. He's constantly posting about all the drills that he's doing, but it's a steep learning curve. And so I'm excited to see him on the pro field. I know he's hungry. I cannot wait to see the Bears kind of unleash him. I hope they let him just kind of, go be that thorn in your side, be that relentless attacker. I think that's what he'll excel in. But yeah, the Bears are looking nice. Shout out to Magic Mike. I know it's been his, when he merged with Thunder last year, this was always the long-term goal, was to bring the Bears back and have this organization back, at the forefront.
They're back,
dude. And you got Frankie boy. Frankie's a beast.
Yes. Do we have any, what's the word with, well, I guess Thunder became the Bears, but is there any Thunder players? We know of a few that are going to Ironman. Do we know of any other players that are making moves, or are they all sticking together pretty much?
What do you mean, Ty? I do know that some of the Thunder players are going to Ironman. Well, I guess maybe none of that was confirmed. I know that they were at the second callback practice / tryout this last weekend at ASG, where there was Dynasty, Ironman, Aftermath, and New York Extreme. And 3 or 4 of the Thunder players were there. I assume they're going to be on that team, but I'm not positive. I don't know.
How was the practice?
I wasn't there. I don't know.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You were in Florida.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we scheduled this Dynasty practice kind of last minute. Archie and myself already had plans. I was in Florida working with my divisional team, New York Wrecking Crew, and so I couldn't make it. A huge bummer. I definitely heard good things. I was super bummed because Chris Shear was out there as well. I was really excited to get to play with him. We're actually going to have him on the show in a couple minutes. He's waiting for us to call him in, but so we'll ask him about the practice. Actually, it's probably better to ask about the practice. I couldn't make it because I was in New York, in Florida with the New York team. Every January, they go down to Florida to escape the cold weather, get a nice practice. We were practicing against ML Kings and Russian Legion. So they had a dynamite practice, and the kids played amazing. It was really awesome. It truly was. It was, the first 4 points So we had the field to ourselves on Saturday. We did a ton of drills. I put them through a bunch of different situational things, tried to prepare them for what we were going to see Sunday. Sunday started with some one-on-ones because all the kids were calling me out on the way to the field. Well, we'll beat you in a one-on-one. Vito could beat you in a one-on-one. So-and-so could beat you in a one-on-one. I was like, okay, you guys are actually getting me like upset. Now there's a little bit of disrespect. So I got super fired up. I got to the field. I geared up faster than all of them, and I was waiting on the field. I said, let's go. Come on, let's go. We started out with some one-on-ones, and I got to admit, the kids, they gave me a little bit of a run, but none of them beat me. Won all the one-on-ones against them. Had to let them know one time that coach can also play paintball. I think they kind of forget that. But then we went in to play the MO Kings and the Russian Legion. And the first 4 points were ugly. We got beat up. It was like, I was like, well, let's get to our spots and stay alive. Can we do that at least? And all of a sudden they flipped a switch. They started to pick up the pace. It's just a different pace. That's the thing, right? Like when you are playing up divisions, it's a different pace. They adapted to it pretty quickly and started to do very well. We were in points really long. We had a lot of points that were like 4-on-2, 3-on-2, and we would lose to, like LJ and Kyle Berry. They would just kind of make good moves and based on experience, beat them. Fair enough. That happens. And towards the end of the day, we were winning an okay amount of points, an acceptable amount, right, for a team that was D3 and just moved up to D2. But it was a fantastic practice. The kids played very well. There's a lot of highlights, a lot of big moments, a lot of great things to kind of hang their hat on for, the end of the weekend. So I'm excited to see them, play in Division II this year. I think they're going to do very well. And
yeah, me too.
Having practices like that is clutch. So
yeah,
sorry,
to the boys, to the New Yorkers on moving up to D2. That's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. So sorry, I was trying to speed through that because we do have Chris Shear waiting to get on the line. Should we call him?
Yeah, let's get him in here. Let's go,
right,
Chris.
By the way, brother, I miss you, dude. Love you, Ty.
Yeah, I know. We don't get to see each other that often. Hey, at least the season's coming up. We'll be running around.
We have some clinics that I'm working on setting up for us to go have some fun together and do some PTG
Pro Schools.
Yeah.
Run it.
Yo.
Hey,
Yo.
Mr. Shear.
Yeah, what's up?
We're live on PTG.
Oh, we're live, huh?
We're live, dude. That's how it goes. Yeah,
live as it gets, dude. Yeah.
Well, we're not live. I guess that's a little misleading because it's not actually live, but you're on the air. Maybe it's not even on the air, but you're on the show. It's going to go live. Like this right here, these words are going to be on the show.
There's no editing
later tonight or tomorrow, but you're on.
Yeah. Let's go. Second time, actually.
Second time. I know. I think you're going to be
back, man.
Maybe a little more of a regular now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's do it.
How's it going? What are you up to?
Just chilling in my house right now, hanging out. Had on the Spick and Span show for a little bit, watching that.
What's going on over there?
I don't know. This is just a bunch of rambling.
Are they rambling about anything good? Share some insight.
It's been pretty good. You got Dalton on here, Ryan's on here. I think he's snowboarding. So they're just talking about moves and stuff.
Chris, which show's better? Spick and Span show or Play the Game?
Don't put me on the spot.
You got it. On the spot.
Actually, I was trying to explain this the other day to somebody. Actually, my stepdad was wondering about the shows, and I kind of said the PTG show is more Joe Rogan-ish in terms of you guys interview, iconic players, all sorts of stuff. You get a bunch of random people that are, it's more serious, and then you come over to the Spick and Span show, and it's kind of more of like a Nickelodeon style show. So it's cool. It's cool.
Bro
to see,
just said Nickelodeon style. I love it.
Hey, shout out to Slime Time one time. Slime Time.
Slime Time. Hey, Slime Time was my favorite time back when I was
like
8.
They run the Slime Time Nickelodeon bits with the NFL stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Shout out to Slime Time.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best. Dude, you just gave us the most iconic soundbite of all time.
I think you did.
It's like, I remember all those old shows. Legends of the Hidden Temple, all that.
Oh, come on. Don't get me started.
Chris, my brother, welcome to the damn team. I'm so bummed that I wasn't able to be there this weekend to greet you at practice. We were just talking about, how the Dynasty practice was pretty last minute. And I already had, every January, my New York team, they head down to Florida to escape the cold and get a good practice. So I've had that booked basically since like December. And then, you know, it was like a couple weeks ago, we decided to have this January practice. So it was a bummer that I couldn't be there, but how was it? How was meeting the guys? What was your first exposure like to the team? You know, talk me through it.
It was awesome. I mean, I'm super pumped. I was definitely pretty nervous, you know, going out there at first, just because although I know all the guys, I don't know them personally or anything like that. Some of them, I guess, but you know, it was cool. You know, getting to go out there and just be myself and meet all the guys and stuff. It was great. The practice was awesome as well. I mean, it was cool to go out there and see how packed ASG was. I mean, they had a DJ, Big Sexy was out there ripping it up. You know, the parking lot was full of cars. So it was cool. And then, yeah, I mean, the practice was awesome. There was Ironman, us, NYX, and Aftermath out there. So, you know, just a good grind with those guys, and it was awesome. So,
there we go.
Yeah, nice.
What was it like seeing New York without Harris?
It looked pretty good. Not too bad. I feel like I didn't recognize maybe a couple people that were playing with him, but not sure. Yeah, they looked good. It definitely was a little quieter, I would say. Didn't hear as much yelling or rambling, so that could be a good sign.
Yeah, I guess the word on the street is that he might be going to Russian Legion, and I think that there's a pretty high likelihood that could be happening. So I'd be excited.
That.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty legendary. I mean, shout out to Harris. If you're on Russian, that's a stamp. You know what I mean? That's a staple.
Yeah.
That's a big accolade to be able to put on the belt. So I'm rooting for him. Always rooting for Harris. He's got a monster spirit and he loves the game, and he's damn good at it too. You know, the guy knows how to play paintball.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I heard that too. When we went down for kind of a warm up, when I was playing with Revo down to Tiki's, they were having the ML Kings. I don't know if it was like a joint tryout, but I know ML Kings was having a tryout, and Harris was there and Whoopi was there. And, you know, around that point is when I started hearing some rumblings that Harris might go to the Russians. So good for him. I know that that was like a dream of his. So super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he was on the show, he was talking the Russians up about, you know, that being his favorite team. And it's funny because, I mean, no disrespect, but it seems like the Russians would never want a player like that. They're much more disciplined. You know, they don't like to be loud. They don't like to talk shit. But you know what? At this point in time, they might need that. That might be a little bit of a spark plug. The word was that kind of New York seemed a little flat this weekend, and it seemed like they were missing that, you know, and we've always been, sorry, I won't speak for Tyler. I think I can, but I'll speak for myself that I've always been a big fan of Harris, and I've always stuck up for him on, you know, being on New York Extreme. There's things that he needed to tame in 100%, but I felt like he was a big spark plug for them, which is an important thing. And like, you know, when you lose that, you got to find out how you're going to replace that. It's not irreplaceable, but it's certainly something that you need to notice. You need to understand that like that type of passion does bring something. And honestly, he closed a lot of games. He made a lot of big moves. You got to get away from the penalties. You got to get away from a lot of the distractions, you know, and I'm sure he knows that. But if he does that, I think Harris could be a great addition to an organization. And the Russian Legion, I mean, that's like, that'll be crazy. I'm very curious to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. That's it's really cool that he could do that. And I think it would really tame him and kind of mold him into a guy that would play really well for them.
Sure.
You know, so that's my take on that.
Yeah.
So Chris, we're just going to get straight to it. The PTG Discord is always just ablaze, and they've been going crazy. They heard you're coming on the show. They got questions, and Maggie wants to know, Chris, did you hit up Dynasty after you saw Dalton leave, or did someone from Dynasty contact you? And she was wondering how the first practice was. We'll kind of get into that here a little bit more in just a second. And who is your favorite teammate so far?
Absolutely. Wait, so hold on. Is this Maggie? I think I saw Maggie.
Yeah.
This
you did.
weekend.
You did. She was out there this weekend for sure.
She's amazing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
First part of the question. No, actually, I did not. I didn't reach out to anybody. I didn't do any shopping around at all this off season. I fully thought that I'd be still playing with Revo, and then I got reached out to by Dynasty, so that was pretty cool. Just an opportunity that I really wanted to take for myself and go do it and be a good teammate. So that's that. And then I think the second part of that was who's my favorite teammate so far.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hard. I really like Yosh a lot. Ryan is awesome. I mean, all the guys, like, it's hard to pick one. But
yeah,
Yosh is really cool. Alex, Ryan, I mean, those dudes they're awesome. I don't know what to say yet about Marcelo or Archie since they weren't there, but
to be continued. Don't worry. It'll be my goal to eventually become your favorite teammate.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's ultimately everyone's goal. It should be. You should want to be everyone's favorite teammate. If you are not striving to be the best teammate, Tyler says this best. He says it all the time. Be the best teammate you could be. If you're not striving for that, then you're not helping your team. Period. So like you should want to be everyone's favorite teammate. It's like, if you're not your best friend, who you think is your best friend's best man at his wedding, then you didn't do a very good job of being a best friend. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's like, you should be trying your ass off to be everyone's favorite teammate. That should be like the ultimate accolade is, that's my favorite teammate. Those are people that want to play around.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Definitely.
Hell yeah. Love that. So Chris, what was the main, kind of deciding factor to coming to Dynasty? Again, I know you've been loyal to Revo for a long time. There's a lot of great things about the Revo camp. Revo has been playing phenomenal. You were definitely a huge part of that organization. What about Dynasty kind of made you feel like you needed to make this step in your paintball journey, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. One of the things was, not just because it's Dynasty and, the prestige and all that kind of stuff, but being able to play around players that are, I've been playing the game so much longer. I mean, if you look at the guys on the team, it's funny because, a lot of the teams say, oh, we should pick up younger guys and this and that. But if you really look at who's winning, it's guys that have been in the game for so much longer, have so much knowledge. And, one of the things was I just wanted to come on the team and experience that, gain that knowledge, and just try something different. I mean, it was uncomfortable for me at first. And I mean, it still does feel uncomfortable for me, not playing with Revo, but I was in a spot on Revo where I started to feel comfortable. And I kind of liked that pressure. And I talked to Archie a little bit before making the decision to come over. And, he told me that kind of uncomfort feeling that you feel is really where you grow from, if you can push through that and, gain that experience and just mold through it, then you'll be in for a treat. So that's kind of my one of my reasons behind it, and also, I mean, Dynasty, like I'm I want to come play with you guys. So super stoked.
So what's the sentiment from Revo? Are they supportive of you, or are they mad at you? How's that going?
Oh, so most of them were pretty supportive about it. We try to make the transition as easy as possible. Try to leave all doors open and, not burn any friendships whatsoever. So, I told them that it was just something I wanted to do. And I gave a big, long message in there to everybody and talked a lot with Tom and Henry. Most of the guys were supportive. Henry is, I think he's still heard about it, and I'm sure it stings, but if he's a true friend, like I think he is, he would come around.
Absolutely.
But yeah, most of the time, or most of the guys were very supportive about it, especially the newer guys, and then some of the younger guys on the team.
Yeah, it's never easy, man. Anytime that you make a transition like that, you're gonna have some people that are probably going to be in their feelings a little bit. But like you said, anybody that truly cares about you and is supportive of your journey is going to support you as you make that transition, and congratulations. Yeah. I don't think I've said it formally, but congrats on the move. That's a huge move for you. And you're a dynamite player. So I know Dynasty lost Dalton, and being able to have you and Marcelo, and I mean, there's a gambit of players on that team who can play the Dorito side. But having that depth of versatility and adding your talents to the team is definitely going to help them. I do want to know, and this is another Discord question for everybody that doesn't know. If you go to our website, you click the orange link, sign up and become a part of our community. Going to our website, hit the orange link there on the website. You can upload questions that we answer live on the show. So this one's from E. Lambs, and he's wondering, do you plan to use legal means to get the number 33 jersey from Marcelo?
I think Marcelo said he's going to send me a cease and desist, and I said he's going to have to win it first.
It's in the mail right now. It's in the mail. Cease and desist. It's in the mail, baby. I guess we're going to go to trial. Is that what you're saying? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Huh. So my question on the show was actually going to be what's your number going to be?
Yeah, we got to know.
Really
what's your number going to
be? Yeah. I think I'm actually going to go number 10.
I love that, dude. I love that number.
I was a while, and then actually before Rebo, I was number 10, and then I got on the team, and one of the guys was already number 10, so I switched to 33, and time to get back.
Dude, there's so many reasons I like the number 10. One, it was Kobe's number for Team USA. It's also Kobe plus Gianna, 8 and 2. The number 10 is a very cool number, and I think you had some other personal reasons if you'd like to share with people why you like the number 10.
I'm trying to think. Well, I liked number 10 since I was a lot younger. Playing soccer when I was like element. But I know number 10 is also like a huge soccer number. So with Messi, and it's like I think it's like a legendary number in the soccer game, which is cool. A lot of those guys rock that number.
Yeah, that's a dope number. That's one of the numbers that if I were to ever change my number, and I don't know, sometimes you go through these like midlife crisis kind of things where like, should I change my number and just completely rebrand myself and that kind of stuff. Yeah. 10 was one of the numbers that I've thrown around for sure. That's a good number.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. That's a good number. You can't 33 though. We're not going to trial. What is this? Fuck you think we're talking about? Paintball court. Well, I'm going to need you to represent me in that case.
Okay.
I think it's super interesting.
Conflict.
It's super interesting that you both like the numbers 33 and 10. Are you guys born in the same month? What's going on here?
Ooh, I don't know.
That is fair. I was born in May.
May what?
27th.
So we're both Geminis.
Yep.
Damn, daddy. Yo, me and Chris Shear are going to be coming down that Dorito side like it's nothing this year. Tight. Yeah, I'm June 18th.
I'm a May baby too. I'm a May baby as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm May 17th though, so I'm a Taurus.
Yeah. I was going to say very close.
Turn it on and off, we play the situation. We make the move at the right time.
You know how it goes.
Dude, we're gonna be in sync. Yeah, Chris, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be a really fun season. Can't wait to actually get to play with you on the same team and get to practice and get to work. How were the codes? What'd you think? What'd you think of all the gear? What'd you think of the codes? What'd you think of how'd practice go? How did we do? I don't really know much of what went on.
Yeah. Well, I'll kind of walk you through it. So we first rolled up to ASG, me and Blake. We got out. We started. I got hooked up with like a ton of gear. All this stuff was awesome. I mean, Yosh put together like a little care package for me that had tons of stuff, jerseys, some old school, kind of OG stuff, which was sweet. Big Head also like hooked me up with some clothing that he had, which was cool. And I feel like when I was getting ready, there was probably like 2 or 3 cameras just cruising around, getting some film or taking pictures and whatnot. But we all got kind of ready and we went over there. And some of the teams are already playing, so they had like an hour probably before we got ready to play. And I'm not gonna lie, Saturday, the first part of the day was pretty rough. Actually, I don't know, we were just kind of came out flat as it was a warm up. So also too, new layout. No one has played it, no one's really seen it, so it took a little bit of time. We got adjusted to it, and then we started doing well. And then second day. Personally, I felt like I played much better. And then I thought the team played better as well. But, for me, personally, it's a big change coming to a team. having to relearn all the codes, relearn bunker calls, understand, how each player plays. So Skinny Kevin had sent me a code sheet whenever that, looked at it. But still, you have to use it in game really to kind of master that stuff. So just trying to memorize codes and things are tough until you actually get in the game and play. But no, I like the codes a lot too. I won't reveal any secrets, but they're good.
Nice. The best call is the dynasty call. I love that one.
Yeah.
Means we're usually doing well.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
A lot of people make fun of me for the dynasty call. Just yelling dynasty, but yeah.
It's a crucial call.
It's a crucial one.
When it comes to awareness and like tone setting, you have to have a call like that. Something that says, we're in control of the game. Don't F this up. Take a breath. Let's connect. Let's put the pieces together and let's win this point. If you don't have a call like that for your organization, you're playing behind, because there's teams that are playing with a different type of intention, a different type of cadence, and they're going to be able to have the gumption to grit those points out just out of connectivity, right? They're more connected. Yeah. The more connected team is going to win a high percentage of those games. Yeah, you're going to have a player that can streak down a side every once in a while and win a game here and there, but predominantly the more connected team with the better code calling and the better awareness is going to win a high percentage of those games.
Yep. That's funny you say that, Tyler, because there was actually 3 points that I have in my mind from this weekend, specifically to that point where there was 2 2-on-3s that I was in, and we had 2 bodies, and then there was also I guess the other point doesn't matter. It was a 1-on-2, but there was 2 2-on-3s. One was with me and Yosh. One was with me and Damien, where we actually pulled it out, and it was good for me because it felt, like we were really connecting out there, which so early on, coming onto a new team, I think is cool. Just trying to get that connectivity going quickly. So those were good points.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, CB2K Mackerline Gang from the Discord says, question for Chris Shear, being a lawyer himself, and bear with us, it's a little long-winded. He gets to the layman's version towards the end, but what would it actually take financially, etc., for the NXL and or some independent organization to stand up a governing body to govern player contracts so that there is established formalities and policies around picking up, dropping players for a given season? Assume this is the same governing body that also creates the capacity to mandate minimum salaries or salary caps, and all current 20 organizations are thus to pay a minimum salary to their players of some arbitrary amount for the length of said contract. Look, usually I don't read questions like this from the Discord because they're too messy and we need you to make them clear and concise, but it's actually a good question. What he does follow is, in layman's terms, how do we formalize the process of player trades, roster pickups, so that we don't repeat the absolute craziness that has been this current offseason and bring roster stability to existing teams? I think that's what he's getting at, and I actually think it's a good question. So what are your thoughts on that?
I was actually just thinking about this the other day. Because of all this going down and the craziness that's happened, I was thinking about, I'm sure that it's been thought of before and has been brought up, but I think what the NXL needs to do, there needs to be some sort of, like his question mentioned, is a governing body, but it needs to be within the NXL organization, and there needs to be formalized contracts that are established. Even if it's a contract that's, very essentially boilerplate style language that comes from the NXL, but then you could fill in the specific language and clauses or whatever for what each player wants or what each player gets. And then, that board essentially has to regulate what goes on. I think that there needs to be a cap space. If there, if all was good in the world and we could have millions of dollars in paintball, I think that there should be a cap space, and it should be run, something similar to, NFL, MLB, those sports, to where certain players, you couldn't just all of a sudden grab, 5 of the top guys to your team because, they'd want to get paid, a ton of money, but that team wouldn't have the cap space to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just we're in such a tough space right now because until there's a base minimum salary, like I hate limiting players that have an opportunity to get paid to play.
Yeah.
That's where we're in like this weird space, right? If 80% of the league doesn't devote all their time and effort to paintball, but they still have become professionals and they're still formidable pros, cool, but they have outside jobs, cool. But if there's 20% that has devoted their entire life to the game and they don't have outside jobs and this is all they do, and there's one team that could pay 10 of them, I don't want to limit that. So it's like, I don't know how we get over that hump. I'm sure it'll just organically happen over time as more money trickles into the sport, but I feel like
I thought about that.
Okay, go ahead.
It's
go ahead.
I think what would really disrupt a lot of the movement would be if each NXL Pro team had an owner come in, even if, it could be anybody, hypothetically speaking, if every NXL Pro team had a major mega money owner, it would disrupt a lot of what's going on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. Can we get one on Dynasty? Fantastic. A mega money guy. Oh, that'd be great. Dude, for sure it would be. Yeah, then it equalizes it, right? Then there would be kind of base salaries. Everybody would be getting something at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
what do you mean? You guys got Alex. Alex is your guy.
I think
did pay for
Alex does more for the team than a lot of people realize, to be honest. But again, like his situation outside of paintball, I don't know why that people expect it to be given to the team. That doesn't make any sense. Alex goes above and beyond for the team. I think you need someone that comes in that's going to, directly benefit or has that interest in buying players, buying and paying salaries and being able to, and who knows, actually, what I will say is I feel like that's at the heart of Hormesis.
That's right.
Finding,
that's what I was just going to say is
finding a way
to
pay the players and pay the team. Hormesis is growing. Hormesis has done a fantastic job. It's a community favorite. And I believe that there's a lot of great things that are going to come from Hormesis. I truly do. Probably not even just for Dynasty players, probably for a lot of paintball players. There's some cool projects they're working on that are just absolutely dynamite. Oliver and Alex together, that's a fucking dynamic duo if I've ever heard of one.
Well, the dudes have two of the biggest hearts in the world, when it comes to paintball, and Alex goes above and beyond always to make sure that the players are happy and that they're having fun, and he does a tremendous job with it, and it's not an easy job.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
So Chris, what are your goals with the team this year? What are your goals personally, and what are your goals for Dynasty?
Personally, I want to win. I haven't had a win in the NXL. I've had a third place, a fourth place with Revo. But
you guys should have beat us. You guys should have beat us in Philly.
I know. It's I think there was we've talked about before on the show, but we were close. I think we would have won that event had we.
I did too.
You.
I did too. You guys were hot.
Yeah. Personal goals, be like you said, the best team that I can be, and then and I want to get a win, which I think we're definitely going to do. And then team goals, 4-beat.
4-beat. I like that.
I saw you post that today. So.
But okay, so for you, it's just get a win. You don't have goals of maybe transcending into the conversation of a top 5 player or personal accolades of like an MVP. It's just simply get a win.
I've definitely thought about it. I guess that's not like, it's not, I guess those accolades are not kind of the things I strive to do. It's like, if I just go out there and play my best, those kind of come along with it, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like, I feel like if I'm chasing that win, that comes along with it. But it would be nice to, get those accolades and win an MVP and that kind of stuff. Certainly would go after that. But,
Absolutely.
I really want to win and just have a lot of fun.
There we go. Yeah. Hey, Papa Sash, shout out to Texas Paintball. He says this discussion came up with his team. How do you handle losing? Only 7 different pro teams have won a major in the past 10 years, and only 4 have won the series title. He would also like to hear our thoughts on that concept as well. March, after Chris handles that one.
Yeah. Losing's tough, but really, if you go back to, why you play the game, you play it because you just love paintball. You're going to come back out there and do it again, so end of the day, yeah, it sucks to lose. It really does, but you just love the game so much that you're going to keep playing. And we're with Revo, we're super close. We had the team to do it, and we were right there. So, we always felt like we could go back, change some things, continue to practice, do things better, and we were right there. So, but yeah, it's tough to lose.
Yeah, typically you're going to lose a lot more than you win. And he also ended it with like TNM, our thoughts about winning being the only acceptable result for a team. Now, obviously, that is the only acceptable result that we are chasing. We're not trying to lose, you know what I mean? So if you're going out there and you don't think to yourself, I'm going to win, and winning is what we're shooting for, then you're kind of cutting yourself short. Obviously you want to have fun, but it's a competition. We want to win the tournament. So you really have to have a sharp mindset in regards to how you approach your training and how you approach stepping onto that field and looking at all the details from within your organization and the opponents that you're going to be playing. And you got to win upward. You got to move forward lose upward. You got to move forward through the losses and really learn. It is difficult to learn because you got to take it on the chin. You have to cut the ego. You have to really look at it from a non-biased perspective and take shots to the chin too. If you F up the game, you got to take that to the chin and be like, okay, I really need to think about this. I really need to put some thought and effort into why this is happening. Because if you don't, it's going to repeat and it's going to repeat and it's going to repeat, and then things are going to get heated. So it's a very important thing, actually. Losing is extremely important, and hopefully you don't continue losing and it starts to turn into winning, but you have to learn how to lose in the right direction in order to get to where you need to go.
Yeah. I think I would say actually that winning is not the only acceptable result for a team. It certainly is not for us. Progress is the only acceptable result. So, we understand and are very realistic that you cannot win every single event. That's a goal that people like to set, because you could easily say, well, why not? Somebody has to win it, so why can't it be us? But as far as like acceptable result, I want to underline that word acceptable. I don't agree with that. I don't know that should be the team's philosophy. Progress should be the only acceptable result, and progress doesn't even mean during the event. You could lose and then have progress from that loss. It's interesting. I think timelines kind of change as well. Dynasty was in a drought for quite some time, and you're like hungry and thirsty for that first win that you've had in a few years or in many years. And that process to me is actually, how do you handle losing? It's the most challenging. And to me, that's where the most growth comes from. And it's really humbling, and I think for your character, it's really good for you as well. So handling that it's part of the process in sports. And it's part of the process, building yourself as a human. I think you have to be able to like take these adversities and find ways to fix them. And that's the challenge. You're trying your hardest to be able to overcome the fucking thing that you can't overcome. So I think that part is amazing. And then it's so funny, the last, 3 years with Dynasty, the team has won a lot of events. And I got to say, I'm not even lying. After World Cup, it was kind of strange. I didn't feel this immense amount of joy from winning World Cup. I know that sounds kind of crazy. The only thing to hang our hat on, in my opinion, was that it was like the 3rd in a row. So we broke a record there, but the win didn't seem like it came with a ton of challenge. And so it wasn't as gratifying as some of the previous wins, where it was like the first few wins that we've had in a long time. Actually, the Chicago event where we lost, we got 3rd place, or the 2 minor events where we didn't do well. Those were some of my favorite events of the last season, because it was like, those were the ones that I was like, okay, it's very clear what went wrong. This now can translate into my process for the next event. And now I have work to do. I understand like exactly what to build on. Whereas when you're just winning a lot, you know, it's hard to do that. So if you are winning a lot, you start to actually look at the losses as a lot more valuable. If you haven't won in a long time, then it's easier to focus on the win because you haven't had it, and it becomes that much more like tasteful, you know, appetizing. Handling losing is part of everything you do in life. You're never going to win everything, period. And actually, the longer you go without winning something, if you're making like slow and steady progress towards it, almost the better, you know? And again, that can shift, right? That can shift. If you are winning a lot, then those losses will be that much more valuable to you, you know? So handling them is relatable to what situation you're in, you know? But it should not be a, you know, if you don't win, everything's out the window. Losses are fantastic. You learn the most from them. Losses are amazing. Losses are so good for you. Without losing, there is no winning. You know, if there's no loser, then there's no winner. So, you know, losing is not as bad as everybody makes it out to be.
Well said.
Yeah, Papa
Well said.
Sash, that was a great question.
Indeed, for sure.
Discord's
100%.
lit. Let's go, Discord.
Yeah. Man, let's see. I think there's quite a few in here. I think we already talked about quite a bit of these questions.
So we're for sure going to see the number 10.
I got one.
That's the number you're going with.
Yep. I've already told him.
You heard it here.
Oh, yeah.
All right. From Jay Lamb. This is my last question, Chris. We do have Thomas Taylor waiting to get on the horn, but from Jay Lamb, he goes, Chris, first off, congrats. Super proud to have you as a local baller and a friend. Being in the league for so long, what do you think finally clicked to push you to that next level player status? Much love, Jay Lamb and the Wreckers.
Shout out Jay Lamb. I know him. He's
yeah.
actually a super good guy, super local guy. He helps out. He basically, I think he owns the Wreckers team around here. But they played a field close to me, and I was out there not too long ago. Just kind of showed up after I was drilling by a field close to that field, and just kind of came out and saw what they were up to and checked the team out. So shout out Jay Lamb. As to the question, could you repeat like a little bit of the ending of that question?
Yes. He said, being in the league for so long, what do you think finally clicked to push you to that next level player status?
Ooh, oh man, it's a tough one. I would say extreme confidence in what I was doing on the field. You know, tons of drills, obviously, you know, just playing a lot of paintball, but being comfortable out there is huge. You know, now that I'm somewhat seasoned in the pro division, it's not like it's your first time going out there and playing some of the best teams in the world. You know, I was more comfortable. I would prepare myself mentally for events. I mean, all the time, really. I'm thinking about, you know, my game, how I can be better, going through motions in my, you know, just in my own head at home, thinking about the ways to make certain moves, thinking about how to communicate with my team. All that stuff, you know, mentally inside comes together when you're out there on the field. You know, so it's just a lot of confidence, which I think maybe back in the day I was, you know, trying to learn how to be that guy. But once I kind of got comfortable playing in the pro division, played these teams more and more, realizing that I can compete and hang with these guys, you know, eventually got me to that point where I was, you know, it was just another kind of walk in the park, go out there and give it my best. And, you know, Revo gave me a lot of that. So I thank them a lot for that because, you know, they trusted in me, allowed me to go out there and be the player I could be. And, you know, I just took it and grew with it. So I think that's
awesome, man.
Probably one of the main reasons, I would say, Mr. Lamb.
Yeah. Lamb, he's the best. I got one more. Chris, since Dum Dum Paintball is probably over, can we expect you to start Smart Paintball?
I don't know if I'm that smart.
We're going to start the Mensa line.
The what line? The mental line?
The Mensa line.
Okay. Do it.
Yeah.
Be fun.
You know,
dude, you're the man, Chris. And once again, congrats, brother. Thank you so much for dropping by the show. We know the PTG world out there, they all really appreciate all the insights. And we can't wait to see you take the field 2023 with Dynasty. And we'll see you soon out in Florida.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Real quick, Chris, you know what Mensa is, right?
Mensa. I thought you said mental.
Mensa. MENSA. You don't know what that is? Oh, you can't be part of the Smarty crew. Jesus. Mensa, it's the largest and oldest high IQ society in the world. It's like the Mensa group, you know? So we're going to be the Mensa line.
Yeah.
And I guess you can't be on that line.
So it's a dum-dum.
It's a good crew.
Fit right in.
It's a good crew.
Good crew. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, thank you so much, brother. I can't wait to see you at practice. I know I'll talk to you quite a bit from now until then, but thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing some insight with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, boys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Dude, hold on, Chris, before you go, where can they follow you on IG? I forgot to plug that. Give them your IG.
It's just Chris Scheer. Chris Scheer, and then last name has a second H in there. So it's kind of weird, but spelled SCHER.
All right, go give them a follow. And Chris, you have a great night. Thanks, bro.
Thank you, brother.
You guys too. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Bye.
Later.
Hey.
Awesome.
The boy is tight, dude. I'm excited. I'm bummed I missed practice this weekend. I can't wait to get out there and get to work with him.
Dude, he's going to fit in just perfect with the mental crew.
The mental crew. He just went along with that. Yeah, the mental crew. Come on, Chris.
I love it. That's what it's all about. Hey,
you know what Mensa is.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to the 33s. You know what I'm talking about. All right. So we also this is a big deal actually, and it hurts my heart to really talk about this. It's kind
Thank
of
you so much for bringing this
touchy subject, but John Richardson needs our help. Okay. John Richardson is an OG in the game. He needs our help. He's going through some tough times. And if you can please go to GoFundMe.com, search John Richardson. It's run by Brian Fow. You'll be able to find it in that way.
Jon.
Jon Richardson, standard issue Richardson on the spelling. Please go. If at nothing else, please share it. If you can spare anything to help the man, it's going to go a tremendous way to help him and his family. And we appreciate everybody supporting the paintball community. You know, it's all of us together in this journey, and let's be there for each other out there.
Yeah, John is one of the kindest and brightest legends of the game. He hasn't played for a long time, but he has had a huge impact on so many of us, myself included. I was his teammate for a long time, and he lost his wife a couple of days ago. I can't imagine what him and his family are going through. You know, it's way too young, should never happen. Really incredibly sad. So yeah, if anybody, you know, if you guys can, if you can't, that's okay too. But if you can, you know, maybe share the page, head over, leave a little donation, do whatever you can. He's one of the best dudes of all time. Truly a great individual. John Richardson is fucking legendary.
Yeah. One of the best guys ever. And it'd mean the world to him. So thank you, PTG. And we're going to hop in. We got Thomas Taylor. He's ready to get in here.
T-Tay.
Yeah, episode 177, we had to bring in number 77, so we got Thomas Taylor on the horn.
Here we go. Ring-a-ring. Ring-a-ding-ding. Ring-a-ding-ding.
Hello.
Damn, Daddy, one ring and he answers.
Let's go.
I was ready, baby. I was ready.
Oh, nice, brother. We are on air, dude. We're ripping. We're ready to rock.
Sweet. How's the show going?
Well,
really
been going really good. Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
I mean, it's even better now. We got
Scheer?
Yeah, we had Chris Scheer, but now we're rocking, dude. We got Thomas Taylor on the line. What's going on in your world?
Hey. Oh man, dude. You know, it's been a long off season. It feels like. I mean, lately it's been crazy for all these teams, but for me, it's been a little bit of a long off season. A great off season, though. I mean, I got to enjoy my kids win World Cup. So, you know, we may have stunk as a paintball team, but, you know, having your kid win a World Cup might be even cooler. I'm just saying. I mean, I know, Marcelo, you've won a lot of them. So you're probably getting, you know, tired of winning them. But
we were just talking about that. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Dude, that's so amazing,
man,
Thomas. Yeah. Having your kids win a tournament together. They won World Cup together, right?
Yeah. My daughter didn't end up actually playing. We rostered her and she came, and I think the stage was just a little big. You know, she's just 10, right? So it was a little bit much for her. Yeah, you know, I mean, we went out as a family, and I put a bunch of kids together locally, and you know, they pulled out the Mighty Duck story, and you know, had a World Cup win. So, I mean, that was very cool. One of the coolest things that's ever happened in my life, for sure. You know,
that's timeless.
Yeah. Sometimes, you know, as you get older, and you know, I'm getting up there. You start to realize, you know, some of the coolest things are what you get to do for others, or be a part of what others do over, you know, what you do yourself. So it's just definitely very rewarding World Cup, just in just pure joy. Absolutely.
How old are you now, Thomas?
I am 42.
I see. I know.
I'll be 43 in June.
I feel like we probably had this conversation the first time you were on the show, and I for some reason I'm just always surprised that you're older than the Dynasty guys. I always thought you were younger.
No, I'm older. I mean, they started the year before me, right? They went pro the year before I went pro, but I kind of started later in life playing paintball in general, right? So yeah. So they're I mean, Ryan's not far behind me.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
trying
right
to
there.
catch me.
He's right there.
Yeah, he's running. I mean, I think he turns 41 pretty soon here.
No, he's like 40. He's like 44, but somehow younger than
you. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, dude. Off season. So for me, off season was a little different this year, right? So the second I got home, I had to schedule a hernia surgery. So I went right into surgery as fast as I possibly could. I mean, that's just, it's been, that's probably what makes the off season feel so long, because it's just so slow healing. You know, I mean, I've never had to do surgery before, you know, MCLs, PCLs, you know, hamstrings, ankles, everything I've done over the years, I've always been able to rehab them. But this, you know, wasn't rehabable. So, it's just slow, man. It's so slow, just the healing process. And because it's in your stomach, and, you know, it's just, you know, put that little mesh plate inside there. So, I mean, that's probably making it extra slow, but at the same time, you know, I'm glad I got another 4 weeks here or so, because I'm going to need every second I can to make sure that I, don't tear this thing back open at the first event.
So you're playing. So on our last episode, you said the year that you retire, you're going to bust out the Mohawk, and that's when people will know. And I swear you busted out the Mohawk.
Yeah. So, yes, that is absolutely true. I was never going to do it. That was the wife and I's deal. But on that road to World Cup, the journey, when we decided we were going to take the kids and put all this together, and we grabbed a bunch of local kids, you know, we were doing a lot of different things to help them raise funds to cover the trip, and they had to get all kinds of gear, because a lot of these kids just didn't even have anything, right? Not loaders or anything, right? So, I mean, I had a really green crew. So one of the things we did was, if we raised X amount of dollars, I can't remember, it was like T-shirt sales or beanie sales. One of our fundraisers we did, or straight donations that I would cut in the Mohawk, and the fans came through, man. They came through and they helped support the kids, and so I cut in the Mohawk, and you know, it's still kind of there. I mean, I haven't really got a haircut all off season. It's just a bunch of hair floating around on my head. So I mean, there's kind of a Mohawk still up there. Maybe I'll keep rocking it. Who knows?
There we go. Well, but hey, I know I
was thinking about retiring. Go ahead.
No, you're not retiring. You don't even start.
No.
Start with that.
No. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I had contemplated retiring last year, because it was my 20th year, but somewhere around June, I said, well, that was a stupid idea. I ain't retiring.
Yeah. Well, I know everyone out there is praying for a speedy recovery for you, and I know that's not easy, but you're a trooper, you're a soldier, and you've always, like you said, you've been through a lot, and you've always come back stronger. So we're excited to see you out there. And I really want to dive into what you said just a minute ago about, you know, as you get older, how much more important it is to give, you know, and to make sure that the community around you is doing good. And what you've done with building the community in the Northwest and making sure that the youth division is flourishing is truly astounding. So I got to give you your flowers on that, because we need everybody to step up in the same way that you've stepped up, and making sure that paintball flourishes in your area, and that the kids have a platform to be able to come up through, and a good environment and a good source of light to be able to shed on the game. And you've done that better than anybody, honestly, Thomas. So I got to give you major accolades and major love on that, bro.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, you guys know that, you know, I am paintball. I believe paintball. There's nothing else I do outside of family and God than paintball. So really, truly, there's nothing more important to me than continue to see our sport grow, and to do that at the youth level. You know, I've done it at a lot of levels coaching over the years, and, you know, coaching a semi-pro team that I'm helping build this year, and a lot of other stuff, which is always fun. But the youth is what really matters. And, you know, obviously I'm extra invested in it because my kids love it. So, I mean, that kind of sparked it. But as I started my kids' leagues a couple of years ago and just watch how much fun they have, it just reminds me of when I was in high school going out into play. And, you know, there's just this element of paintball that is so cool. And I think for, you know, the first time in my time of playing, which has obviously been a long time, like you guys, we actually have a lot more younger youth wanting to play. And so I really made my off-season mission to question why we do what we do and how we do it, because, you know, just because we've been doing something for a long time doesn't mean we're doing it the right way as an industry. So I've really been trying to spearhead an entire new way of bringing youth into paintball. And that's working with other people that are working youth programs and taking their ideas. And, you know, Mrs. Montrester and their group that did the Youth at Cup, because, you know, we have this point system that, you know, whether I agree with how it's done or not, doesn't really matter, you know, for every other division, but I'm passionate about the youth. And, you know, when you get to 45, we have this whole thing where, like, they give you a handicap and they start cutting your points down, and they do all this stuff to, you know, let you play other divisions. But, you know, there's nothing for the youth, right? So if you're a 10-year-old kid, you go play an event or a couple events, all of a sudden you're D4. Have you guys ever been to a tournament? You have. Have you seen D4? I mean, it is brutal, right? So you have these kids that are playing 1 or 2 years, and then they just quit paintball because they go into D4, and it's not meant for them, right? You have grown adults that have been playing 10, 15 years playing
Thomas,
D4 and just murdering
like
kids.
that. Like, I'm so glad
D4.
Hinman like changed that, you know? You
right,
had like,
well, Hinman, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, just like Hinman would like set a rule. Like, no, look, and actually, I don't know if this is his new rule, but he definitely made it tougher to play D5. But in my opinion, like you should only be able to play D5 for 1 season, and then you have to move up. But yeah, like D4, especially, there's like old D2 players, some D1 players. You know, I think Rusty Glaze is like classified as D3 now, and he could play D4 technically. You know,
right.
It's like fucking
and that's,
baloney.
That's my point. It's crazy,
yeah.
Right? We don't have anything set up. Like, you know, when I came up, and you guys have been around long enough, probably came the same way too. There was rookie, novice, amateur, and pro. And, you know, so you played rookie, you weren't allowed to go back. You didn't have a novice guesting with you or an amateur guesting with you, right? You know, so, you know, I love talking to Mike about that when he made those changes, because, you know, he was asking those questions, and, you know, he asked a lot of people. And I talk to Mike a lot when it comes to this stuff, because I run leagues, and, you know, and, you know, we bounce ideas off each other. And, you know, he's one of the guys I talked to recently. I just said, hey, man, you know, I'm working to change the way we do youth paintball, you know, and currently what my push is if you're 13 and under, you don't gain points. You know, some people argue it should be 14. Some people argue 12, but, you know, allow kids to play. We don't have a little league. We don't have a place for kids to come up and, you know, gain that, that knowledge and really just to gain that, you know, thick skin to be able to take paintballs. We're not like other sports, right? I mean, you're getting shot with a lot of paintballs. You know, it just scares these kids off, right? You know, they go straight from playing like a 3-man into that, and it's over, and it's absolutely over. So what I've been trying to work on, and I'm getting finally some people to jump on board. I've been talking to all the big leagues, working with a lot of people, is doing a point system, kind of like we do for the older generation. So either no points for 13U and like, you know, like a 0.5 multiplier for like 16U. Now you have some 15 and 16-year-olds that can go play semi-pro and pro, right? Or maybe not pro, but could be right there. But those are the outliers, and those are the ones that they don't want to play D5 anyways, right? And if they went and played pro, they'd be getting half points. So my goal is to get enough people on board, to get enough leagues on board to convince, you know, the APPA that just because they've been doing something a long way for a long time, isn't the right way, right? We don't have anyone protecting these kids. We don't have anybody looking out for these kids. We don't have anyone trying to keep these kids and their families loving the sport of paintball for more than 1 or 2 years before they get pushed out. So that's been my off-season mission, and it's going well. The NXL is on board. Like I said, Mike is. You see, Mike put up a poll the other day. We talked about it. Then he dropped the poll out there. I've been talking to Chris Rangel. All these guys are starting youth divisions now, and nice. We're just getting to that point where we're going to get the APPA on board, or at least to partially acquiesce this year, so that we can test it out and go forward. So, I mean, that's really what I spent a lot of my off season doing. You know, I've been healing up, but I'm just really, man, I'm so excited for what youth has to offer. And, you know, someone has to speak up for them, right? Someone that actually has the ability to talk to these league owners and have real conversations.
Yeah, it makes me think, what was wrong with me? Because I turned pro when I was 13, and I was just getting bombed on. So, right. You know, and there is that. There is that 1% of us. You know how all of us are built the same. Let's just be real, right? Yeah.
I've always enjoyed it. I'll go right up in the mix and do it. But that is such a small amount of people. And once again, when we came up, it wasn't the same, right? You know, I'm telling you, we didn't have 15, 20 years of people that were playing tournament ball that were as good. I mean, paintball people weren't that good at paintball back then. Let's be true. And they weren't, you know, no one had been playing, you know, amateur, novice, pro for 15, 20 years and coming down and, you know, wrecking us, right? Paintball wasn't old enough then. It wasn't old enough. It wasn't, you know, I mean, it was, but it was so much smaller, right? You know, so, you know, it's time for a change, man. And it's time for a change. And it's a way to get these kids involved and to get these parents to be like, yeah, you know what? I do want my kid to go try this event or go try that event or to do stuff. So, you know, yeah, man, it's been a lot of my off season, just passion, right? You know, just, you know, investing into the youth for paintball, so that we can see it, you know, flourish for many, many moons and these kids and the parents can have a good time.
That is so awesome, man. And if there's any way we can help, please let us know, because we're all on board with making sure the youngsters are having a good time and we can keep this game rolling into the future with some power. So be sure to tag us in anything that you do, any news that drops your way, tag PTG, and we'll keep sharing the good news out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it, boys. I appreciate it. I mean, you guys are doing awesome things for the sport and become one of those voices people are listening to. And I know I hear all about your Discords and how awesome they are. I haven't jumped in one yet. I apologize.
Dude, come to ours. You know, come on over.
You talk about it like a super old man. Your Discords as if it's plural, and you got to jump in one of them. There's only one. There's only one.
No. I said, like, as in you do many Discords, like you do multiple ones, not like you're doing multiple different ones. Like you do it once a month, correct? From what I understand.
Thomas.
Thomas.
Well, I'm saying if you do two of them, is it still a Discord?
Don't.
Oh, we love you. We love you. Ty, take it.
All right. So hey, Thomas, I'm gonna hold your hand.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna make this happen, brother.
All right.
I'm gonna hold your hand and we're gonna get you into our Discord, and it's gonna be glorious. I cannot wait for this.
Yeah. No, I'd love to get on it.
But Thomas,
you do multiples of them.
No. So Thomas, it's not like a once a month thing. It's Discord is a ongoing chat room. It's like it's an app that has a bunch of different rooms. So think of it like PB Nation. It's literally like the old school PB Nation. We have a forum where it's like we've got all sorts of different things in there. You know, we've got guest questions, free agents, get featured, media, news, you know, breaking news, rec ball, gear talk, layout review. And it's 24/7 every day. People just hop in and talk. And then once a month, And then once a month, we do like a private GOAT meeting where we do a live stream just for the GOAT members in the Discord. But the Discord itself is like
that's what I was referring to. Totally. The events you do. That's the one that people are always talking about in my area. Hey,
I gotta get in like one of them or two of them are like
they're popping.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to be in the ongoing conversation, but when you do one of the cool ones, that's what, like, you know, when you jump in and do your thing. That's what I was referring to.
Dude, we'll get you a GOAT meeting for sure. You're goated for life.
Yeah, dude, GOAT tier forever.
That.
And Thomas, it's actually really casual and it's like we call it PTG Nation even. It's like the new era PB Nation, and it's really fun. And I know that people would lose it if you even just said hello in there. You know, they'd be going crazy like, oh, Thomas is in here, you know? So we would love to have you, man. If you would like to jump in, we would love to have you.
Sweet. Well, I will come on sometime when you're doing what when you guys are all there. That better. When you're all there one of these days.
We're never not there. We're always there.
We're just gonna send the link, brother.
So you're always just checking it. You're always just checking it.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
I love it.
Wake up in the morning and we're like, hey, what's going on? And there's a whole community in there. They're always chatting, dude. Like, they have great ideas. People in the Discord have great ideas for paintball, for the community, for shows, for fields. So like, we'll hop in and we're just chatting, and you know, it's their own community. Really, they are friends with each other. They chat without Tyler and myself, but you know, multiple times a day. Like, I check in, try to get caught up on the chat, and we're like, oh, okay, what's going on? Cool. Hey, here's my input. You know, and it's like a town square kind of thing, you know, like an online town square kind of space where you just throw around ideas and communicate with each other. It's really casual, like Tyler said. It's not like this formal.
Sweet.
Yeah, totally.
Sweet.
Yeah,
dude, we're sending.
It's like a team chat. Sweet. It's like a team chat with more forums and a lot more teammates.
Got it. Very cool. I've never been in there. I don't know what's going on.
Dude, we're sending the link. But hey, more importantly, what is going on with Infamous? Talk to us about the 2023 season ahead. I know you guys are hungry to be at the top of the leaderboards. Infamous as a brand is always crushing it. So what's going on from within the Infamous camp? How's everything going in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, early on, a couple players jumped ship, got some offers, or you know, I didn't get Cody's full deal. You know, I think he was looking for a fresh start. You know, so he took off, and then Sean got an offer from Revo. He already plays 10 men and stuff with some of those guys, so he jumped out. Otherwise, it's been fairly, you know, kind of a fairly quiet off season. Travis has just been super busy. Had to get a new warehouse, and it's just been moving all his stuff. And then he has his foundation business. So, you know, for us in the off season, it usually goes kind of like radio silent. You know, I mean, you know, obviously we have our team chats and people are talking, and you know, but you know, there's the, you know, hey, should we pick up someone? Should we not pick up someone? Those type of normal things. But Infamous kind of goes dormant over the winter because Travis is, you know, fairly MIA, right? So. But you know, I think the overall morale of the team, everybody's, you know, yeah, we lost some players, but I think everybody's like, you know, that happened and it is what it is. You know, filling roles. Travis picked up Joe Barrett. You know, him and Fry were out, you know, hiking volcanoes and I don't know, do whatever you do overseas. You know, follow Fry on his Fry Adventure thing. So we picked up him, and he actually moved up here to the Northwest. Really cool dude. Like, I've known him, right? But like, you know, a lot of people in paintball, you don't really know them though, right? You know, who they are, what do they do, how do they interact? And so, I mean, he's been coming out to my field probably every week for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And he's just a pretty cool dude, man. He's always just helping people, always like, you know, talking to the kids, and just like, he's really involved, right off the bat, just, you know, inserting himself into the community up here. So, you know, I'm really appreciating that, just having him just be another person that can just inspire the players around here. So, you know, that was pretty cool. And then we picked up Ben Challenger from Diesel, which, you know, he's probably thinking now he should have stayed. I mean, to be fair, they just picked up like half the paintball league. But
debatable though. Would you rather be on that team or
yeah? You ain't playing on that team.
I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited for Ben on your guys' team. I think he's gonna get a lot of looks. He's gonna learn, you know, from some veteran players, which is huge. Travis is an excellent coach in my opinion. You know, I got to spend a decent amount of time around Travis in my younger years, and Travis is a really good person to have in your corner. So I think Ben is in a great spot. You know, I'm excited to see what he does for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's another one of those dudes that's just like always positive, you know. So, you know, I think, you know, him being in and around and him being versatile, you know, I'm kind of excited to see what practice and what Travis has, designed to where he wants everybody to go. Like I said, we had some conversations right after everybody was picked up, and we shot some ideas around where we could use people and how we're gonna, throw different looks and get the best out of each player, right? So. But it'll be interesting to see how that all comes together. And obviously, you don't have a lot of time to do it. You come right up into the event, but yeah, like I said, it's usually pretty uneventful for Infamous in the off season, right? Travis doesn't usually try to make big splashes and pick some people up. I did hear he reached out to a number of people when he found out everybody was belling ship, but then when you start finding out what everybody wants, I think there's a disconnect there between what Travis wants to do and what people want to get paid.
Totally.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. For me, it's kind of, we added 2 dudes, we lost 2 dudes. I think Tim started just playing a little bit better towards the end of the season. Like, just where are we going to go and what are we going to do with it? And this first practice we go to will be cool because there's no layout, so we can just focus on playing paintball. So I think that's actually going to be fun. Not that I'm a fan of the 1 weekend layout. It should have been none or two.
None or two. That's 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
the one is
makes no sense whatsoever.
The one makes no sense. It's so
This is the dumbest thing I've ever. Who even came up with that? Come on, guys! Like, who sat in the room? Don't we have like paintball players in these board meetings, or who makes this stuff up?
I mean, I'm not mad about it. It benefits us.
Well, you guys will probably get a lot more reps on it, right? Like,
Exactly.
What's your guys' plan going into it? I mean,
Play
I
as
know
much as we
Tyler's
can.
probably going to have to play like 13 straight days.
Yeah,
I used to
Tyler's-
play on Heat, so
Yeah.
he's going to be playing 13 straight days.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Tyler and Heat's going to be ready. Impact's going to be ready. Dynasty's going to be ready. The teams that can are going to, and the majority of teams that have 9 to 5s Monday through Friday are going to struggle to get extra days within that time frame on the field. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there is a steep learning curve from the first 3 days to the second set of 3 days in like a layout practice. Like the amount that you learn from weekend 1 to weekend 2 is a lot. So I feel like, if you had a layout for 4 weeks, let's say, I don't know that by the 4th week, you would know that much more than you did by the 2nd week or 3rd week. But by the 2nd week, you know so much more than you did the 1st week. So if we can have 3, 4, 5 days on the layout compared to another team that gets 2 and then the event practice, oh my God, the separation is going to be huge. I think you're going to see that this year. I think you're going to see the teams that have the funding and can put in the extra time. They're going to really benefit from this. It's not going to be.
Did you guys talk to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's not going to be what I think a lot of the teams intended, where, if we give these teams less time on the layout, it's going to be kind of like a blind layout and we might have more of a chance. I don't think it's going to work like that, actually. I really don't.
No, I agree with you. 2, my mind went when they first did it, like, did some of these teams think that, by doing this, they're going to save money and have a better chance? Like, was that their voting process, assuming it was voted on?
Right.
And if that was their thought process, I think it's going to be very, we'll see, but I think that's going to work completely against those teams that, if that was their thought process. I think they're going to regret that by about event 3. Because, for Infamous and, Dynasty, you guys can tell me, Tyler, you guys can tell me how you guys do yours, but like usually day 1, Travis isn't even really calling plays. Like, we're out there making our own lines because we don't really have set lines. We just have, 8 dudes, 9 dudes, 10 dudes, whatever we're rolling with, right? 7 dudes sometimes. We just go play paintball for a day. And then by the end of the day, it's like, hey, man, we kind of like this. This kind of works. This area was important. These people were dying off the break. And then, we come back Sunday and we have some game plans. We have some lines. We mix some things up. And that's what we usually use our first weekend for, us, right? And then you're right. By the second weekend, like now we're actually like implementing, okay, we want to try this. We want to, like, where are we going to use and how are we going to use these plays, what we learned from the first weekend. So for us, this might be a little different because we're not going to have that like leisure weekend, I guess is what I would call it, right? Like we have to hit the ground like immediately, like in tournament mode. Like, hey, dude, like we got to learn this thing right now. So, I hope it doesn't backfire on us because that's just not how, I've been on this team. This is my 7th year thing already. I don't even know. I've been here a while. It's time flies. But, that's how we do it. And I'm hoping it doesn't backfire on us specifically. Now, going into this event, last I talked to Trav, or he posted up, we're going to be there all week practicing, right? So we'll get a bunch of days on the layout and be able to, you know, make up some of those days.
Totally.
But a lot of those events we can't because our dudes are spread out everywhere, right? So even if we come in for a 3-day practice, you know, we got everybody from East Coast to West Coast, North to South, right? So, you know, we can't just all stay somewhere and practice. So it'll be a learning curve for us for sure, right? Like, you know, I feel like Infamous with blind layouts is always better because we're pretty good at just, you know, seeing the field and reacting immediately. And as things go on, we can adapt to them. But we're going to land somewhere in that middle ground, I think. So hopefully it doesn't backfire and hurt us. But what do you guys do that first layout weekend? Like, how's your practice structure?
So for us, it's very similar. Skinny Kevin, like, typically will probably say 5 words to us on the first weekend. He just sits up and observes everything. He just watches, right? So he'll kind of set the lines and then we go from there. And he'll watch, he'll take notes. He takes a lot of stats, you know, like who dies going to what spots. He's very analytical. But there's no input as far as like where to go and what to do. That's all on us usually the first weekend. You know, we usually try to have 3-day practices. So before we even start with the team, we'll just kind of step out on the field and say, hey, this looks like a shot. Let's practice this shot. That looks like a shot. Let's practice that shot. You know, a lot of like fundamental stuff that you think might be important to the layout. Then again, over the weekend, just kind of like, you know, yeah, we just call the shots. We play all the spots. We, you know, rotate through, play the snake, play the 2, play the 3, play the 2 on the Dorito side, play the 1 on the Dorito side, get a look for every spot. And then the following weekend is when we, you know, really have plays dialed in. So I guess on Sunday, you know, of the first weekend, we'll also have plays, but it's kind of like team generated plays. You know, players will show up Sunday and be like, hey, like here's a play I really like. Someone else will be like, here's a play I really like. And then Kevin will be like, yeah, you know, and so kind of same. And then weekend 2, we have like, you know, all of our favorite plays. Let's put them to test, you know, and we go from there. So yeah, it's going to be a different process now for sure. I'm excited though for the new process. You know, you're gonna have to find a new way to practice and figure out how to find the best practice formula. And I think that's something Dynasty did very well the last couple of years. I think we had a really good practice formula. You know, the way that we were getting prepared for these events had a lot to do with our success. So finding a new way to do that is going to be another part of the, you know, challenge. And I look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love a good challenge. You know, I mean, but you're right. It's going to be different. And we're, you know, that'll be part of the test. I think this first event, whose model of doing it over one weekend was better, who figured out the field the fastest, who was able to figure out a game plan, they can at least assert most of that will on someone else until they saw something else they liked during the event and were able to, you know, maybe steal a little bit of it, right? So What about you, Ty? What's your guys' first weekend look like usually?
Very similar to what you guys described. Obviously, the first weekend we're gonna kind of just be we'll do like 3-on-3s, 2-on-2s, 1-on-1s, different body situations on the field. Just run through a bunch of different game style plays, not too orchestrated and like regimented in any way. You know, we're moving through all the different positions, like Marcelo said, checking out the snake side, Dorito side, looking at all the different spots, especially when you're on the field layout. Like last season, we had 2 weekends prior. So that first weekend, you want to look at every spot you possibly can. And same is going to be happening with the one weekend. It's just going to be crunch time, you know, and the teams like we're talking about that have more time on the field are probably going to fare a little bit better.
This brings up a good point, actually. So with that, you know, I know some of the conversation was getting new players involved and having new players, you know, have more of a chance. I think this hurts that, right? Like, what teams are going to actually play their new guys now? Like, that one weekend becomes so important. It's like, how many reps can we actually give you at practice? You know, that's a concern. That's an issue.
It is a huge concern.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already the problem with the way our sport's done anyways. Like, at practice, you only have so many reps. So, you know, Dynasty picks up a couple of guys. We pick up a guy. You know, he picks up a guy. You pick up a newer person that already isn't a Dolphin. And you're like, you know, well, hey, we can do something right now, but over here, like I need to dial in with Marcellus, and Marcelo and I are dialed in right now, so we know what we're doing, right? So mixing someone else in helps us, hurts. hurts us creating that bond, that quick reflexes. We know what we're going to do. So yeah, this is going to be way worse for those players. I mean, if your coach doesn't think you're one of the, top 6 or 7, or, teams are built different. Maybe on, Heat, they think, okay, we got 10, or Impact or whatever, but yeah, absolutely. You can't afford to give up reps. Every rep is going to be crucial. You can't.
That means that means is that the weekends prior to that 1 week that we have now with the field layout, you've really got to be dialed in with your teammates too, and if you are a new player, you've got to make sure that you're finding your way on the field with those teammates so that you can start building the chemistry and have that rapport. So when you step into the field layout, there's already some rapport built. You really got to put some stern importance on those weekends leading up to the week prior to the tournament and making sure that you're building that rapport.
Absolutely. I mean, you bring up a good point, because most of us are probably still going to do a weekend on a non-layout, weekend, I would assume. And, that's where bringing those new players, even a player that's been around, like what Chris Shear just went to Revo, right? Bringing someone like him and being like, okay.
Chris Shear just went to Dynasty.
He left Revo from Revo. Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant to say. But, he's a great paintball player, but they got to learn what he does, how he's going to fit in the system. Does he talk? Does he not talk? Does he react quick? Or, does he want the information before he moves? I mean, you're going to have to figure all that out on the non-layout weekend. Because if you wait for the layout weekend to do that, man, your teamwork's going to be, it's going to be harder for you guys, right? To do that at the event. You don't want to be trying to figure that out. When a team's barreling down your throat, he's trying to score points.
Dude, Thomas.
Oh, so you were going to move there. My bad. I thought you totally were going to move. All right, we lost that one. Let's figure it out next time. That's not the time.
Straight up. Yeah, Thomas, this has been one of the craziest offs. I thought last season was crazy. This off season has torn last season apart. We saw Latin Saints 2.0. Latin Saints 2.0 is back. And then it seems like the entire
they just barely missed Silos. If they would have done it like 2 seconds earlier, they could have Silos too. They would have had them all.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was close.
And not only that, I do want to pick your brain on what's happened here, because it's pretty insane. The entire deck of pro paintball shuffled a little bit. Like, we have never seen a shuffling quite like this at the pro division. Not just the pro division, the top tier. At the top 8, has shuffled in a way that we've never seen before. So what's your thoughts on all this, man?
I think this is still fallout from the Latin Saints, to be fair. This is, we talked about it last year, and I think Mike Hinman said it the best. Like, this might not be the best thing for paintball, people throwing out money, because you still have people thinking, well, I want to go get that, fictitious $100,000. I hear Dalton did pretty close. I don't know his exact number, but I think it's still fallout. I also think if you look around paintball, man, and I love the sport, we all love the sport, we're seeing the same thing over and over and over. At what point do you not be like, hey, let's mix it up a little bit, let's do something else. Let's, for God's sakes, how many of these can Dynasty win? Maybe go do something else and we'll mix that up. Or Dalton, maybe like, man, I've won enough of them. I'd rather chase a paycheck, right? But I feel like this started with the Saints last year, and a lot of those same players are obviously still involved with the shuffling going on right now. But there's just this realization that if you don't try to do something, you're always going to be one of those teams trying to say, we're a top 10 team or a top 6 team, right? I had a long talk with Mark. Speaking of that, was one of my favorite episodes you guys had. I thought Mark just kept it real. It was really, really cool. I listened to that the other day. It was really good. I didn't listen to it that day. I listened to the Spica one, because that one was also pretty good when Alex was ripping Spica. I kind of like that one too. But then, I just like being real with it. I listened to it a little bit today, and I talked to him afterwards. I gave him a call. And he's like, hey man, you okay? He's like, nah, I'm good. But then it's good raw emotion. I love it. But how long are we going to continue to do the same thing with the same bodies on the same teams? And it's one of those things where, most teams are just hoping they can, go 2-2, sneak in, and then, maybe once a year knock off one of the big dogs, right? You know, I mean, you can't do that forever, right?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and it's not like we keep like we said, we're not adding new players for the most part, right? It's, you know, the same dudes over and over. So I think that's what we're seeing. Like people being like, okay, well, I want to go change it up. You know, maybe I'll go do this over here with someone else because I like them, or, you know, maybe I can get some more money, or, you know, owners being like, well, man, I'm either out or I'm going to try to go win because I'm tired of just spending money to hope to get fifth or sixth, right? You know, so I think we just got to that point in our sport, man. We've all been doing this for a long time. You know, the money part of it's a little crazy to me because, you know, as much as I want us all to be paid, clearly I got a family to feed. So, you know, if anybody's listening out there and you want to pay a troll, I'm right here. I like money. But you know what I'm saying? You know, I love the idea of it. I really do, guys. I mean, obviously, but the way we're going about it, like we're never all going to all get paid, right? You know, I mean, I played for Heat. I got my money there. You know, I don't know what your deal is with Dynasty, Marcelo. I know you're owner or whatever, but you only have a few teams that are going to all pay their players. Not to say I don't have a deal and other players don't have deals. That's not what I'm trying to say. A lot of individuals have deals, but you know, I think we're at that point where people want something different or they want something more because everybody's been doing it for so long. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
You know, you know, so I think that's why we're seeing some of the change up. And like I said, I think it's still the same fallout from last year, right? This idea that everybody can get big paychecks. So, you know, but I like what you guys talked about in the last episode, man. We got to do something different to actually have Go Sports or the NHL generate money so that, you know, these, the teams or the owners, the players can have something, something.
Yes.
Right. I mean, even if it's a little something, you know, I mean, I've made a ton of money off paintball, but dude, there's some dudes that never been in the sport 10 years now. They ain't never made a dime. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's just not right. It's just absolutely not right, man. So something needs to change. You know, maybe it starts with the players doing things like this. You know, I don't know. You know.
Yeah, you know, Thomas, I totally agree. I think it's, you know, to me, what's impressive is that it's now 2 years in a row where there's like kind of big money being thrown around. That hasn't happened in a long time, right? It's always been like someone will come in 1 year, make a big splash, and then not so much the year after, or the few years after. And then someone will come in and make a big splash, and then, right? Like, correct me, you've been in this a long time. I feel like it's been a long time where we've seen consecutive years where people are wanting to throw money at pro players. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a fallout or maybe it's a trend in a new direction. And I understand the argument that you could easily look at it and say it doesn't make sense because there's no return on that investment. But I think you're, you know, stopping a little short of the real conversation, which is I believe these paintball companies should probably be paying the teams that represent them a little bit more. I believe
Amen.
I believe
Amen.
Yeah.
They used to.
They used to,
bro.
They used to.
I used to just get checks
Yes.
straight from the company.
Yes.
Didn't even go through the team.
Right.
They just came monthly to my doorstep. It was awesome.
Yeah. We somewhere along the way, we've allowed the narrative to switch to they don't need us. That's complete bullshit. I don't believe that. You know, a lot of these companies, they make a lot of high-end tournament markers. Rec ball players don't buy tournament markers. So it's like, I don't know. I think without us, the DSRs and the 170s of the world would rule paintball. I don't even know that.
13, 14,
I don't even know that. I think the
gun.
Tippmans would. I think that, you know, less than the DSR is like a nice gun. You know, I don't know that.
Right, but I'm saying price point wise, right? You know,
yeah,
to sell a $1,700-$1,800 gun, dude, come on, man.
No way.
It's not happening. It's absolutely not happening.
Not happening.
No,
I agree.
No, I agree with you 100%, Marcel. And I can tell you when it switched because I've been here long enough. There was a time when all these companies did that because they wanted the bet. But then what happened was a bunch of owners, which I will not name, started coming in and being like, oh, I want a pro team. I'm a big dog. I got money. I'm going to throw it around. And not knowing the industry, not sitting down at boards, not with the players in mind, would go to these companies and be like, hey, you know, I want to buy 30 of your guns for the cheapest price, you know, so I can fund my team. And like I said, I can name names, but that doesn't really matter at this point, right? And it started happening over and over. So as soon as you have owners coming in and being like, oh, well, they want to buy paint, they want to buy guns, they want to buy this.
100%.
So, well,
100%.
well, then, okay. So, Excessive back in the beginning had like a 250 gun deal, dude.
Yeah.
We could get pallets of guns, bro.
Yeah.
Pallets. Now we had to stick with MAP, and you couldn't sell them. There was all these rules, and if you messed up, it was done, right? It was like running a real business, right? And Excessive was a business, right? But if you tell someone, if you go to a car dealership and say, I'll overpay for your car every time, they're going to stop having the dude out there haggling with you to knock $50 off or polish your tires, right? I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And all those people came, spent a few years, and got out because they weren't fully invested. They didn't know the show. They just wanted to come in and swing their money around. And that's what changed paintball. I mean, I watched it happen. I watched sponsorships starting to be pulled, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, well, you guys are paying for these. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just ask for them? Even if you only got a little bit about something, like, you're a pro team, you deserve that. And they didn't play other sports. They weren't pro owners. They didn't have any knowledge of how this was. They just wanted to come in and they had money burning a hole in their pocket. And ultimately, that affected all of us.
Totally. I 100% agree. It's funny. It's kind of like real estate right now. It's hilarious. The last year and a half, realtors were like, they wouldn't return your call. They would, not give a shit about you. They were like, hey, basically you got to come in 30 grand over asking price. Otherwise don't even, I can't be bothered. I'm not even going to get out of my chair in the morning. I don't have time for you. Now they're like, they're sending you, edible arrangements and, brochures of things because the market has changed and it's slowing down. And now there's not as many buyers. So they're like begging for your business again. Kind of the same thing here in paintball. It's like, yeah, maybe that did happen, but I don't know. I think if those individuals are not around anymore and we're not doing that,
right,
the players and the teams have more leverage than we think. A lot of us just kind of get pushed over. And what I will say about Tom Cole, I appreciate that every time we have a conversation, his at the forefront, he at least says, my goal is to get you guys paid. So if we can get more people doing this and watching and supporting and find ways to bring money to the pros, that's what I want to do. And I believe him. And that's awesome. But how exactly do we get there? I think we are getting to a point like Go Sports. I don't know what they make. It's not my business. I support them and I hope they do as well as possible. They're part of the fabric of our industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But should there maybe be some sort of kickback to the teams? I mean, I don't know.
Come on, you know the answer to that.
The answer is yes, right?
Yeah, of course.
There should be some sort of kickback.
If it's not something that's generating enough money to kick it back in, then what is the ultimate goal? Is it just to let that little engine run? Because if that's the only goal of it, then it's actually, in my mind, being put out in a way that is hurting the growth of paintball as a whole. Because the only people that watch it are the people that are paying for it.
Agreed.
Right. So, and that's no shade on what they do. And I absolutely love it. And I love Matt. And that's not shade, but I'm just saying the business model is, it's not, we have to have, if the ultimate goal for all these things is to grow paintball, it needs to be getting in front of people. And that's it's easy to see. It's not a hard conversation to have.
Sure. The
conversation that's hard is like when I've talked about is just the sheer cost of running it and what they have to do. So that's the part of the puzzle, that, we don't know their numbers.
Totally.
But I always go back to one of these things, if they got 3,000 viewers that pay monthly subscriptions and that's what you're worried about because you need that income, then maybe we need to relook at it because it's such a small pie. How do we get that in front of tons of people that might pay less, but see it more, right? So, but yeah, we pay to be there. We pay to be there. We get put on a show that people pay to watch. We get films. We have media people making tons of money off their TikToks and their Instagrams and the reels, and all the things that they're doing, right?
That's a whole nother thing.
No, but it's all part of the same thing, man. Everybody takes a piece. Marcelo, when's the last time one of them offered you a piece? Or said, hey, man, every time I put something up, I'm going to make you a collaborator, or I'm going to give you this, or if you're going to get all this content for free, so at least you could try to make something on your own. When did that happen, man? You know, so there's things that could change. We do a lot of good things for paintball, but the player doesn't get looked after, you know. And I think we've gone off on a tangent here, but the original thing was, you know, why is all this happening? Why are people moving around? But it's because it's stagnant. It's stale. People want something different. People know they deserve to be paid, and we know that we're valued, but we'll never receive any of that value, right? So, you know, shake it up.
I think we will. I don't know. I imagine there's some sort of tipping point where it's like, okay, we're comfortable enough now. We're not like struggling to meet quotas and pay our bills, and now we kick back. But I don't know. I would make the argument that if you just started a kickback, maybe you motivate 20 pro teams with 10 players each, you know, 200 players to really push the show. If it's like a percentage-based system, you would probably really motivate, you know, a lot of individuals in the professional paintball world to really push the show, the league, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Incentive-based programs, I think, usually do fairly well.
Absolutely. I mean, could you imagine if, once again, like all the content was out there, was given to all of us, and then we could use that and we could share it to our people. And the more that it was out there, and the more, you know, specific use Marcelo gets, because, you know, he's doing something sweet and he plays on more Sundays than other people, you're actually getting rewarded for that. You know, not just through social media, but through the actual league or the content creators themselves.
Totally.
Yeah, and social media is booming right now with paintball. I mean, there's a lot of action going on with the socials, and it's what you want to see. And I think that as we move into the future, you know, these are all things that we're gonna have to spearhead. You know, and there are a lot of really good content creators who do provide that connectivity, and we got to make sure that we are all connected throughout this entire process, because it's going to take all of us, and we've all got to start wanting to help each other. You know, it's been crazy though. This offseason, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've been playing pro paintball for 20 years. I've never seen anything like this offseason. It's crazy.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, big picture, I know, Tyler, you picked up a player. Marcelo, you lost a couple of players. You know, so you guys probably see a different way. I lost a couple of. I honestly think it's cool. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on it? Like, I think it's cool. I kind of like the mix-up.
I'm a fan of the mix-up too. I don't hold any of the, you know, players leaving. Like, some people, I think, take it way too seriously. At the end of the day, it's still a job. You know, I put friendship first. I've said it on the show a ton. So if my friends feel like they have found a better situation for themselves financially, or even if it's not financial, if it's just a better situation for themselves, you know, outside of it being because of me, then I got to be happy for you. You know what I mean? And then you're right. The shakeup is cool because it does get boring when it's like the same teams over and over and over. So there's new challenges. There's new villains, you know, I mean, let's go, you know, let's bring in another year. All good with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exciting. It's
absolutely
exciting. People are going to be tuning in and watching these games. It's going to be great for Go Sports. It's great for the league. It's great for all these players and their brands building, because there's a lot of brand building that's going on with everything that's happened. Speaking of brand building, is Keith around you? Should he come on the show? I mean, I think he deserves it.
Yeah, he should. Let me throw a earpiece on him, and you guys can we can chat with him. Yeah,
I want to ask him about World Cup, dude.
On the show.
You know, ask the kid about World Cup and what that meant to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice, I love.
You have to hunt him down. Is he out playing Gel Strike, or what's he doing out there?
He's right here. I'm gonna put an earpiece on him.
Okay.
We're on the PTG. PTG.
Hello.
Yo, Keith, what's up, dude?
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing, bro?
What up, dude?
Welcome to PTG.
World Cup champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man.
How does it feel?
Honestly, yeah, we just wanted to pick your brain and see how that was. How was World Cup for you, dude?
It feels like a real accomplishment. We worked really hard for it, and we feel really good about it. So,
heck yeah,
epic, dude.
Dude, I love that. You know, your dad, he's a legend.
Yeah, big facts. Your pops there is a legend for sure. He paved the way for so many young players. You're lucky to have him in your corner showing you the ropes. What can the paintball world expect for you? What are your goals? Are you just having fun with it right now, or what? What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, we're hoping to come back, and we're just hoping to do good and thrive right now and do what we do best and just go out there, play, have fun, and hopefully come out with a victory.
Epic, dude.
Heck yeah, dude.
Nice.
Love that.
What position do you play?
Right now I'm playing the 2 on the snake, but
Hey.
I did used to play the back center because I was really good at like the communicating and all that stuff. So.
Oh, nice.
Quarterbacking
Awesome,
him.
dude. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, you know, Keith, when he started playing, he reminded me more of myself. He was jumping in the snake. You know, he sees Dad do it all the time. But he's been around the sport so long. When actually got to the five, watching him play,
We lost you, T.
he came already.
Thomas, can't really hear you, brother. Whatever happened,
What about now?
we lost you.
Yep,
Yep, we
gotcha.
got you now.
Okay, sorry. I was saying like Keith reminds me more of like a J-Rap coming up. You know, he just has more of that. He just understands the game so well because he's always been around it. So you know, when we started building the 5-man, instead of having him being that front player, because he immediately understands what the games are. He knows where the bodies are at. He's able to communicate and, you know, tell people what to do and how to get it done. And then he sees where he needs to fill. It was like, you know, yes, he started off wanting to, you know, be that snake guy and going down there, but, you know, having him communicate and, you know, his ability to shoot them off the break is just uncanny. Right. You know, so,
Love that.
yeah, it was cool to have him, you know, kind of switch it up going into World Cup, but then, you know, he has a little bit different style than I guess how I came up.
Mm-hmm. Well, we wanted to be one of the first shows in the world to debut young Keith. I know a lot of people have heard about him, but we got him on PTG. So thank you, Keith. And we wish you tons of success, man. We hope that you have a lot of fun playing paintball for many years to come, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys.
Absolutely,
Awesome,
brother.
Take
You have
care.
a great night.
You too.
Thanks, bud.
That's
That's what it's all
Yeah.
about right there. And Thomas, you've done a tremendous job, not just with Keith.
We're working
but
on
with your-
getting them out the team out the Sunshine State. I've been working with Tom and Jason Trozen to continue to do the youth league this year. So all the kids have the opportunity to play for a season title this year, so they can play 2 events or use their best 2 scores.
Hey, there we go. Awesome.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see
yeah,
that.
you know, kind of give them something like that. So
Thomas,
that's
the
amazing.
Discord,
Yep.
the Discord, which is an ongoing chat, just to clarify.
I'm
again.
only jumping in on. No, I'm only jumping on the Discord when it's the ghost time. All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. But there's some guests that have some questions for you. So really quick, Bortega 0073 wants to know, TT77, what was the go-to gel that you use for the Hawk?
Got to be glued,
Oh,
just
I
like
know
that.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, yellow container, right?
Yeah, you feel me? It was. I think it was actually like Elmer's repackaged.
Nice. All right.
Yeah,
Shout
that
out.
stuff
You need a
holds.
sponsorship. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, it holds even when it's wet. You go to sleep and wake up, it's still just standing, bro.
Damn.
Hey, the Hawk is no joke. That thing's got you should have a whole Instagram about your Mohawk and just like travel around with it, make stories with it. It's got a life of its
Straight
own.
up.
Yeah, like I should go back and post some old photos. We can get this thing done.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You know, and in all reality, you are one of the trendsetters of paintball. You started, you know,
No
the
doubt.
icons of paintball type of deal. You know, when Oliver was big, you were just as big. You know, there was like this huge battle that was going on between Dynasty and Excessive. and you've seen so many different iterations of paintball. Where do you think we're headed into the future? Do you think that the gameplay is going to stay similar, or what do you think the next 5 years of paintball looks like for pro paintball?
That's a great question because, I'm always running leagues and besides playing. And, I used to think that we were going to be doing something different. We were going to add a new spark, 7-man, 4-man, limited paint, all these things that, this is better, that was better. But bar one of us, or us as a whole going into saying, hey, we want to try something different, I don't know that it changes awfully too much because the NXL is being so successful right now, right? So, them as a business, I can't see them changing anything. Like, when you're hitting record numbers every year, you're not changing your business model, right? You might add to it like they added youth this year. And once again, super thankful for Tom and Jason and making it happen. But, could paintball use a shakeup? I always think so. Well, with a business model, take paintball out of it, it's successful, does it change? 10-man's making a splash and it's been fun for the last few years and that's growing, but that's kind of its own entity and that's a lot of throwback players, right? So, the only thing I can hope for that would change in the next 5 years is that we would be doing something that would be conducive to getting more people watching the sport. And that's my hope, man. I just, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I want more people watching the sport. I want them just because I love it, right? And I think, people are missing out on the coolest sport in the entire world.
Yeah.
But also, it would be really cool for all these, it'd be cool for us because we're still around, but it'd also be way cool for the new players to come in that didn't get to experience the WGN, the ESPNs, and the Fox Sports, and all these things that we got to do when paintball was everywhere, right? Paintball was kind of more cool back then, right? Because it wasn't all these shows and it wasn't all, so I hope we can, I know that they're not going to want to change the business model, but if there's anything that we can come up with as a whole to implement more viewership and more people involved, that's where I'd like to see it go. I don't know what that answer is, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, paintball is icy. Paintball is cool as it's ever been, I think, right now. And, there are a lot of people watching it. And I think that, like you said, Thomas, as long as we continue to develop the best product possible for viewership and get this in front of as many eyeballs as we possibly can, we just got to mold our playing style or the different ways that we choose to play the game into that version of that product so that we can have, obviously, the best product for people to watch. And who knows what that is, and we'll ride the waves of that as it comes at us. But we just got to make sure that we're building the best game possible for people to watch and play. And I think that, it's one of the, like you said, it's one of the coolest things in the world. I feel like paintball still has no respect on the name, which is a disaster. And we've got to make sure that we put some respect on the name, because paintball is one of the most difficult sports in the world, and people still think we play in the woods. They still think that it's this thing that is, that it's not. And we have got to find a way to change that way of thinking and get this game on the main stage, because it's one of the most difficult sports you'll ever play on so many different levels. Talk about being gassed out, tired. Talk about commitment to a partnership of people that are working together for a common goal to hold trophies up over their heads. It's one of the most difficult things anybody will ever do, and it's one of the most fun things anybody will ever do. So I just can't wait for this game to have the respect it deserves. I know that all of us here will never stop on our pursuit to give paintball the respect it deserves, because it's who we are, and we know what this thing is and how special it is.
Amen, brother. Preach it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you.
100%.
Hey, one of my last questions from Osborne for this. It's from the Discord. It's like a chat room, and they have a bunch of threads. Let's go. So he says, Thomas, obviously you do a lot. Oh man, you do a lot of help with the youth and getting them involved in paintball. What advice would you give to others looking to get more youth players into paintball?
Oh, that's a great question. So depending on what age you want to do, but you need to make it fun. You need to make it not scary, and you need to make it an environment where families want to be involved. For me personally, I try to start at the lowest level, which is low impact, where I provide everything. And that's how I start my tournaments off. I get people involved in it. Just show up and play. You don't need anything, right? Yes, there's a cost involved, but, getting people involved and doing it. And then having people around, like myself, that are willing to go out there and spend actual time with them, showing them how to hold their gun, how to shoot. So, build yourself a community of people that actually want to see kids get involved with it. I think that's really how you start the youth. And from there, it's just structuring it in a manner that the kids see value, the families see value. And that what they're doing is there's a lot of things in general, some reward for it. There's, and I'm not saying giving out trophies to everyone like they do in soccer. I'm saying like there's an actual point A to point B. Like if you do this, you're going to see these rewards. So really getting youth involved is just providing a more structured thing. I mean, once again, we don't have Little League. We don't have these things set up for it. So parents come in, they see it, but it's not structured right. And then a lot of them pull it away. And I just want my kids play baseball or basketball or do something else because they're told exactly what they're going to do. It costs you $300. You get this jersey. Here's your game. Drop them off for practice. Right. And it's very, very structured. And parents are more about that. We live in a busy life, a real expensive world where most parents, both parents are working, so it's just a lot going on when you don't have something structured and family friendly. So, just think about it like other sports, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. And then be involved, man. I cannot say enough. You have to be involved. You can't just throw ideas out there and hope it grows. You need to be involved with the grassroots.
Amen, dude.
Love
Absolutely.
that,
Thomas, my brother, thank you so much. Episode 177 could not have happened without you.
177, let's go, baby.
Couldn't have happened without you, brother. We appreciate the love and support you and your family give to the show as well. We see you guys always listening. We appreciate that. It's actually, Tyler and myself talk about it. It's actually the biggest accomplishment to us that the pro players enjoy the show as well, because I feel like that's one of the things it's hardest to earn your peers like respect in different things. You know what I mean? That's like the hardest thing to do. So it's like, it means we're definitely putting out some quality stuff for everybody. And actually at the end of the day, all of the pros are part of this show. So, that's a cool factor as well. Everyone's kind of contributing to Play the Game podcast and bringing these stories to the masses. So thank you, my brother.
Hey man, you guys do a great job. We love it. I'm going to support anything you do. Like, once again, I said, I think on the last episode we were on, but if there is pro players doing something that is actually good for the sport, whether it's a company, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a show, whether it's a tournament series, whatever it is, we all have to be supporting it because the industry doesn't support us. We have to support each other.
Amen.
Well, we love you, man. You got a seat here any day of the week, and we're sending tons of love to you and the family, and hope y'all have some fun out there in the Northwest, and we'll see you soon out in Florida for Event 1.
Yeah, baby. I'll have the whole Taylor 56 there, so, we're going to do it right.
Hell yeah, brother.
Heck yeah, man.
All right, Thomas.
Tell them we love them.
Have a good night.
All right, love you guys.
Peace.
Love you, bro.
God bless. I'm out.
You too. Peace.
Oh, the troll, T. Taylor, bro. Legend.
What
the legend.
Dude. Legend.
What a legend, man. What a legend. What a good show. Man, we're 2 hours in. We had Chris, Dynamite new pickup. I'm excited. Can't wait to get to play with him. And then we have Thomas Taylor. He had some good insight too.
This is a fun one.
Obviously, Thomas he's very involved in the game. He gets it. He's part of he's in it. So
yeah,
man.
And everybody,
right,
tomorrow, Wednesday, February 1st, I'm doing a free live class for BKI. So if you want to check that out, I will be doing that
tomorrow.
Yeah, Wednesday, February 1st, at 6 p.m. That would be 6 p.m. Arizona time, which is 5 p.m. Pacific.
Mountain time.
8.
Yep.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern. So it's a free class. If you want to check it out, log into BKI Paintball and give it a go.
Mindset. It's all about mindset.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll be tuning in.
Cool, man. It's going to be a good
That's
time.
not something you don't want to miss. Yeah. So awesome, guys. Everybody out there in PTG Nation, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Peace.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and rocking with us. We really hope you enjoyed that episode. Lots of great nuggets dropped, a lot of great insight. Both Thomas and Chris are so well spoken. They add so much to the sport, and it was really amazing to be able to sit down and have conversations with them. If you guys are as lost as Thomas Taylor was on Discord, let's make it very simple for you. Head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the Patreon link. There's a little orange Patreon box, little orange box in the top left corner, or you could click, there's a big banner. Click it, become a supporter of the show at any level, and you will get access to the Discord. The Discord is a separate app, separate chat, separate group. It is amazing. Once a month for our GOAT members, we do a private GOAT meeting where we do a live Q&A. We hang out with the members. We have a blast. We have a lot of fun. And we drop like really exclusive news that nobody else is privy to. And the GOATs keep that near and dear to their heart. They don't share the news. They don't blow our cover. We share with them. And we also do a ton of giveaways. Tons of really cool giveaways. We've given away guns, loaders, jerseys, Hormesis bands, and everything in between. So, as always, hope to see you in there. And we will definitely see you soon.